Well, what's standing between you and lunch is our next speaker. The good news is he's got food for your mind, which is going to help you be able to afford the food for your belly. And Nathaniel is really strong in the area of LinkedIn for business. How many folks are using LinkedIn? Well, that gives our speaker a really good ramp up so he can get an idea of what to do for you today. We've had a chat. He's a boy who grew up in the UK and very, very fond of Australia, and he's done some amazing things in his young career. Let me just give you a bit of a background. He's right on his game, and those of you following along on page 28, a couple of highlights. But Nathaniel is a leading digital marketing strategist and Australia's most sought-after authority on using LinkedIn to grow business. For over 12 years, the digital marketing experience, he has helped over 3,000 plus businesses achieve a competitive edge online. And don't we all want a competitive edge online, yes or no? Yeah. LinkedIn is by far the most important social network to reach out to potential customers, professionals, and key decision makers in your target market. Many salespeople are now reporting that over 50% of the business is coming directly from LinkedIn, and I know people who can attest to even more of that. So, without any delay, Nathanial Bibby, come up, it's your time.
Everybody hear me okay? Good. Thank you for the very kind introduction, Rob. Look, I've only got 45 minutes, and I'm told that Rob's quite strict with timing, so I'm going to have to be reasonably quick. So I apologise if I rush through things a little bit. I get a feeling that a lot of people in the room are doing what they do because family is important to them. Who would agree with that statement that I just said? Okay, all of you, by the looks of things. Anyone not agree with what I just said? So, as Rob mentioned, I was born in the UK, and when I was 5, my dad took us to Hong Kong and started an asset management business. We went from being in a lot of debt and being broke to being quite successful. And my dad was catching about 55 flights a year, so it spent 120 days away from home. And when I was 10, I went to boarding school in Perth, and that's why I'm in Australia today. So part of the reason why I do what I do is also to keep families closer together, because what my dad was doing when he was traveling all those years was networking. And I believe that in order to take a business from being a small business or a one-man operator to a medium-sized enterprise, networking is the most important aspect of what you do. And it is part of marketing, but if you took away all of the advertising and the things that everybody does, take away the websites, all of it, and you're a good networker, I believe that you can achieve taking a small business from to a medium-sized business. And now, we can do it from the comfort of our own home, on the couch, with a glass of wine in our hands at 10 p.m. in the evening, on the internet. Correct? Anyone disagree?
Do it all the time.
And don't need to do all the flights and stuff. In fact, it's actually more efficient in some instances to do it online. So that's why I do what I do. When I started my career 12 years ago, there was not a LinkedIn. So I got really good at search engine optimization. And when I say really good, I found the things that you could do to trick the system to get to the top. And if you got lots of links from other websites back to yours, then all of a sudden you're at the top of Google and you're getting 10 leads per day. And my first job was for my dad doing sales, and I found out that the people who sell the most are the ones that have the most leads. And so that's how I learned about SEO. And then I got recruited to a Hong Kong company who heard that there's this SEO guy that they should recruit. And guess what? It didn't work anymore. I had to innovate because Google got smarter, everyone else was doing the same thing. So I learned about Google advertising, Google AdWords, and got really good at that. And that worked for a while. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, that started becoming less effective. Still works, but paying $20, $25 a click in some instances. So social media is a little bit of a catch-22 because it's a free platform, but you need to invest a lot of time in order to make it work. So I was looking at all the social media platforms like Facebook, like Twitter, and the time you have to take a personal relationship into a business one is ridiculous. So that's why I decided to use LinkedIn. And when I started using LinkedIn, I was working for an online marketing company, and I was selling websites. And the best website clients anyone could ever have are plastic surgeons. They spend a fortune on online marketing, and they've really got no idea about marketing. So they're looking for assistance, and they've got the money to pay for it. And so I actually used to go around Melbourne and walk into the practices. And most of the time, the practice manager or the receptionist would stop me from speaking to the owner. Surprise, surprise. Same thing happened when I called. So I decided to have a go on LinkedIn. And keep in mind, these guys are not on the computer all the time. And I contacted 10 surgeons, 4 responded, and I sold a website to one of them for $22,000. And at the time, that was like the most expensive website I've ever sold. And I did that in a week, and I thought, wow, that's a pretty good conversion rate. And so I decided to systemize it, and we grew that business from 5 employees to about 120, and I exited the business about 13 months ago, and it's now listed on the stock market. So this strategy is something that your competitors are not doing. No one in this room is doing it, because the reason is because people have a stereotype about things, and if I told you today that you're going to message 100 people in your target market on LinkedIn, the reality is it may or may not work depending on what the message says. And at the end of the day, we put the most importance on what that message is, and the most important thing that you could learn today about social media is it's not about you. It's about the other person. Okay? They're all on there for their own reasons. You can only talk to them about what they already know. People only want to know about what they already know, or what they already know they want to know. You can't talk to people about what they don't know they want to know. Does that make sense? Awesome. Okay. I've got this particular image from LinkedIn's website. So they're the ones that are shouting this from the rooftops. Cold calling is dead thanks to LinkedIn. The conversion rate in cold calling is 1%. Like, so that means if you make 100 phone calls, you'll succeed 1 time. Okay. On LinkedIn, it's like between 10 and 35%, and you haven't got the things like getting through gatekeepers. You haven't got things like timing issues, because people can respond when they like. Oh, by the way, can anybody guess to the nearest decimal point how many people are on LinkedIn in Australia? And I'll give, whoever guesses it will get a free ticket to our next LinkedIn training day.
42 million. 6 million.
3.8 mil.
More?
8 million.
Less?
7.2.
7.2, correct.
No! You were just boxing. Yeah.
3 minutes after, she'll give you a free ticket to our next training day. Well done. And I just got that from LinkedIn recently. Like, I'm shocked because it was only 6 months ago they told me it was 6 million. And then 6 months before that, it's 5 million. You think about the population of Australia, that's all of the white collar workforce and then some. Yeah? University students are one of the fastest growing markets, I think, on LinkedIn. And traditionally, LinkedIn is a recruitment site, right? So all these people are uploading their CVs and looking for jobs, but guess what? There's more salespeople and professionals that own businesses that want to network on LinkedIn than there are recruiters. And the ones that are like working out how to use it effectively are the ones that are getting that competitive edge. Because these days, if you start a business and you just follow the same routine that everyone else does, and you get your brochures printed and your business cards and you throw a website up, it's going to sit there and the phone's not going to ring. You've got to do something different. And I've learned throughout my career that when you do something that no one else is doing, it's cheaper, it's more effective, the results work. As soon as so LinkedIn becomes too populated to work, we might be out in the streets doing door knocking again, because no one else will be. So I'm going to have to skip through a few slides just because of the time. 1 out of every 3 professionals on the planet is on LinkedIn. So I want to give you some practical outcomes. I'm just going to skip through some of this stuff. All right, so strategy is the most important thing. Like, if you don't have a strategy, you're going to spend a lot of time on LinkedIn doing a lot of things, and you're going to see a lot of results in all different kinds of places. But unless you start off saying, okay, my objective is to get 3 new clients or to get 100 leads or whatever it is from the start, and then work out how you're going to measure success. The biggest mistake I see people make in online marketing, whether it's SEO or social media or whatever, is they don't know what to measure. They don't measure the correct things. Probably a better way to put it. Okay, so like, what do people measure on social media usually?
Likes.
Yeah. We want to be liked. We all want likes and comments, but does that put money in your pocket? So what should they be measuring? The return on investment, dollars in the bank. At the end of the day, that's what we're looking for out of our marketing. And how can you do that? Well, social media is not necessarily just about creating likes and comments. Generally, the people that actually want to like and comment have got more time on their hands than most. You want to engage with your target audience, so find out what it is that they're interested in. And you don't have to post stuff and hope and wait for them to like it. You can approach them directly. There's no reason why you can't connect with people on LinkedIn and send them a message, tell them about what you do. And I'll tell you right now, I would be so impressed if a virtual assistant contacted me on LinkedIn, out of the blue, and said, hey, I've looked at your LinkedIn